Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, ready to rub in a little W for the OG Juan and Anobis this week. That's right, we were hyping it up last week. Ryker and I were matched up, and both of us were 1 and 2 in the league. So we're top scoring across the league. Unfortunately, Ryker, a big week for you was taken down by the OG Juan and Anobis. How does it feel, Ryker? How does it feel?
What do they say, Ben? Read between the lines. Read between the lines. It was unfortunate, you said it, to waste such a good week because I am in the position where I have 3 Heat players on my team. And you're not always guaranteed to have 3 players overperform, but that's what happened. I had a really strong week, had a good week from Jeremy Grant. My issue is my center spot right now because I'm waiting for guys to come back from injury. So it's a good one. But Ben and I were sneakily heading up to the top of the rankings, even though I'm 2 and 2, Ben's 3 and 1. There's a couple of 4 and 0 teams, but as the season's been progressing, we're creeping up the average projected stats per week. So don't be surprised if 2 or even 3 of the Raptors Digesters crack the limited playoff spots available.
Well, we have a crazy storyline with Josh's team that we're going to dive into as the pod goes along. But Ryker, let's dive into our squads. I'll break down your team first, seeing who played well, who broke out onto the scene this year, because people like the updates for the squads right now. Right, you got Kyle Lowry, Devontae Graham, Harrell, Paul George, who I've been trying to take off. You might do some live trade negotiations on this podcast, but Grant, RJ Barrett, how are you feeling about that trade right now? Because his stats haven't been looking that nice compared to Harrell, who you gave him up for.
It's a long-term play because I justified saying I'm going to get back Hachimura at some point. Now, I'm a little bit shook about that because turns out Hachimura, I didn't do enough digging. I thought he was injured. Turns out there's just something going on. He's not, they're not communicating. He's, I don't know, Japan, wherever he lives. And at some point, no timetable for return, he'll come back. But my assumption was RJ Barrett's a fixture in the starting lineup for the Knicks. Montrezl Harrell's minutes would soon be cannibalized when Thomas Bryant eventually comes back. Hachimura eventually comes back. And I would have the starting 4 or 5 spot player on that team. So RJ hasn't been as bad as what you're maybe categorizing him, but he's obviously not consistent with his stat line yet. He'll have some poor performing nights, and he doesn't grab as many rebounds as you would hope for his height. It's a big killer.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. He did have some big games for you when you immediately picked him up, but then it's looking tough, at least the week against me. RJ, me and him played in a tournament against each other. Maybe he's just helping out your boy, just struggling. He knows his fantasy league is going. You did meet him in the bathroom, so maybe it's you got the closer connection there, but obviously Bam and Kevin Love. You got cheesed with the center situation this week.
Yeah. So I had Frank Kaminsky, and he was sucking. And so I dropped him for Kelly Olynyk. And the day that I dropped him, he had a 30-point game. And then I bring in Kelly Olynyk, who immediately went out with injury for a 6-week injury. And I shift Kevin Love back into my lineup, and he goes from injured to having COVID. So I haven't had a center play in my spot. I'm on the waiver wire with looking at Achua, but you said you're also looking at Achua, so I'd assume everybody's looking at Achua because it's only a matter of time before his performance also comes back, and then you start going into really poor guys. I don't know if you're screen sharing right now, if you want to like flick over to centers that are available in free agency, but there ain't a lot.
It's tough.
It's very tough, and that's really, it's the most valuable position in this league outside of, I would say, small forwards, because small forwards, you can have guys that put up points, grab you assists, right? The Doncic types, or the Paul George in the absence of Kawhi Leonard when he's back, the Giannis, those types, because they're going to get a full stat sheet. They're going to have a block because they're tall enough. They're going to have some rebounds, a couple of assists, right? The centers, the blocks are the most valuable, 1.5. They're going to get 10, 15
for blocks.
It might even be 3 steals, right? All of that. So really the center is the most valuable position. So it makes sense why there's just not a bunch. I don't know if you have it pulled up now, but like,
well, there's a few.
It's desperate.
Thaddeus Young's out there. Obviously, Precious was dropped, I believe, by Peasant Place. Marcel, what are you doing? What are you doing dropping Precious? But Hardenstein, Whiteside, there's a few guys in there. There's a few guys, more than there was a couple days ago. So I might have to do some digging this week. But Riker, you know, my team hasn't changed much, I believe, from the last time we did one of these update videos. I'll run through it quickly because we have a crazy storyline going on with the Goody Mob, Josh Goodwin squad. But I got Terry Rozier back. I got Luka and Jokic on the squad. Porzingis, got a steal for Porzingis. Traded Jordan Poole for Porzingis. He's been putting up 35s for me. Kristaps blocking shots, as you said, getting rebounds. A nice center on the squad. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had a big night this week with like 60 fantasy points. Grayson Allen's been great. Talen Horton-Tucker, I pulled off the waiver wire last night, and he's looking like a starter, taking a lot of shots for the LA Lakers, at least in his first game. So I'm happy with the squads. I got Metu. Not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but got him on the waiver wire last night. Gonna see how he's playing. But Josh, Riker, we should dive into what happened with Josh's squad, because this is tough. This is tough. You can see it here. Josh against Mrs. Kanye West. My matchup this week. Josh, 848.4 points. And Mrs. Kanye West, 848.8. 0.4.
Harrison Vinaswaran.
0.4 points for Josh. Congrats, Harrison, on the big W, but that is tight. That is close.
What's Harrison's team?
Mrs. Kanye West. Let's dive into it. Let's break in, because this matchup is...
That's 8th place, fun fact, in the league.
8th place?
So he's one ahead of me now. He's gripping that last playoff spot as of week 4.
Jeez. Creeping into that playoff spot. He's got Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, interesting. Andrew Wiggins, Aaron Gordon, Bogdanovich, but he's got Giannis and Jonas to really fill out that lineup. And Duarte.
Jonas.
Valanciunas. But Giannis and Jonas are absolutely huge in fantasy this week. But Josh just couldn't get it done. Josh is having some bad luck right now with his teams, with his squads. He's 16th in the league at this point, Riker. We'll break down the standings, how all that's there. But he's got LaMelo Lonzo. He's got the Ball Bros. He's got Trae Young, Gary. And then the front court's where it's looking a little bit sketch, a little bit tough. Doug McDermott, Carmelo Anthony. Nurkic has been all right this season. Steven Adams he just got him off in a trade. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Josh's team right now?
Yeah, he went through a full rebuild, right? A very early season full rebuild, and the value in a particular player is that they get many points. So a guy like Tyler Hero on my team, he's not as valuable really as a LaMelo Ball, who's not going to average as much scoring, but he's going to have more robust stat line, which translates to more points because you have the extra multipliers 1.2 and 1.5 on assists and steal or rebounds, right? And then threes on steals and blocks. So I think Josh's team, it'll turn around. I think he'll start to creep up, especially when we're seeing other teams completely implode. I've been monitoring what's happening with trades, and some people are just looking desperate. They're making the wrong moves.
Shout out Tom, the legend out here. Pull up his roster. He's got Maxey. Now, he made a steal with Maxey. He's been sort of self-deprecating, but Maxey and Dylan Brooks on his squad are looking nice. He picked up Kaminsky and JaVale McGee after you dropped Kaminsky. So, it's he's looking up. Tom, I'm liking the moves you've made after sort of trading away your entire roster. But Maxey's for anyone that's playing fantasy out there, Maxey's a huge steal. But our guy Peasant Plays. This is he's letting go of Precious. He's still got Buddy Hield on the roster. He picked up Jordan Poole. Shake Milton's there, Kelly. What's our Isaiah Stewart? Right? What are we thinking on Peasant Plays out here? His moves.
Where's Peasant Plays right now, ranking wise?
Tied for last. He's second
with Tom's terrific team.
Yep.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, it's the updates. One guy, Will's wonderful Kazoo's got a W. I'm not sure if he's out here, but try to show some love on teams that we've missed over the past couple of videos. But He's out here with Rudy Gobert and Jimmy Butler. I feel like he'd have a couple more winning weeks if Jimmy Butler was healthy, because he's been killing it so far to start off the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of scrolling through here. I see Paul Blunt went team name change. Blunt Armstrong now. He's doing all right. He has more overall points than you and I accumulated so far.
Yep.
But again, both of us, if you just look through what the projected stats are in this week's matchups, I'm at 932. You're at 927. The next couple teams are in the 800s. Then it goes right 500s. So you and I are just coasting right up to the top of this league. So it's going to be, well, one, our objective is to make the playoff, but it will be funny because we still haven't announced what the official prizes are going to be, but Ben and I we will give the prizes to ourselves if we rank.
I'll take them. I'll take them.
We're going to be competitive still.
We're competing for these prizes, for these W's. We'll have a big celebration. We get it, but no, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. OG Steady Freddy is still even with some injuries this week. We have an OG Steady Freddy versus Elder Phil matchup, 1 versus 2 seed Riker.
Oh yeah,
we'll pull up.
Sparks will clash. Those two teams are stacked. That's gonna be a good, interesting week too.
Yep. And OG Steady Freddy, it's Ja Morant, steal of a pickup. Tyrese Halliburton, obviously a beast. Derrick Rose has been solid, but Anthony Edwards, Miles Bridges, Evan Mobley now, Christian Wood, and Segun. Jamal Murray and Jaylen Brown in the IR right now. We'll see how long Murray comes back, but Jaylen Brown obviously will be back soon. His roster is looking fire right now. And then Elder Phil got the W on me last week. He's been killing as well. He's been making moves, flipping left, right, and center. I think he's the only guy that's made more moves than me this season. But Russell Westbrook, Cade, who looked good against the Raptors. Jalen Green as well. I didn't know he picked him up, but Jason Tatum, Sabonis, which is a nice pickup. Draymond Green, LeBron James. We'll see if he can get healthy. He's going to be key for Elder Phil this week and him coming back. Who do you got? Who do you got in this week's matchup, Riker?
Probably OG Steady Freddy. But the thing with Elder Phil is, if Ben Simmons ever gets traded, that's the ace up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Because Ben Simmons he's
nice
on the same tier as Luka and Jokic and Giannis and all of these guys. As
he doesn't get the points, he doesn't get like the baskets. In a point,
he'll average 10, 10, and 10.
Yeah, but
and he'll get.
You're talking about guys that average 30, 10, and 10, Riker.
Listen, he also is going to get better production on the defensive end than Luka Doncic and Jokic will. So he's going to get a steal or two and a block or two, and that's going to give you 6 or 12 points right there as well.
Luka and Jokic. Don't be putting the young socialite in the same breath as those guys. But yeah, he's definitely going to be valuable when he comes back. I don't know. Elder Phil definitely making some quality moves there. But Riker, we have a fun week. We have a fun week coming up. We'll see what ends up happening. Right, I think this is a big week for me. I need to fend off Mrs. Kanye West. I need to get this W here. You're facing Cartier's. We'll break down these rosters before he signed it off. But Cartier's got Freddie, DeJounte Murray, Chris Boucher's on the roster, DeAndre Ayton, who's been injured for the last little while. Do you think you're getting the dub this week, Riker?
I'm not worried about that roster as you just described it. I'm putting it out there. I'm laying it out on the table.
The smack has been talked, Cartier's. So Riker's putting in the slander, but Mrs. Kanye West, I'm going up against. We already broke down his roster, but Giannis and Jonas. That's going to be a tough matchup for my guys. And Chris Paul's been really good as well. I got a tougher matchup this week, but we'll see how it works. I don't know if I could beat you last week, Riker, with your monstrous performance. I think I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling confident against anyone who I'm facing up against.
That's it. It's been an interesting start to the fantasy league so far. I didn't think that my team was going to shape up as well as it did. Now I'm not really in a position to talk my talk because I'm in 9th. I'm out of the playoff picture. But again, the way the stat projections are going, Ben and I have been on a tear. Even though I got the L, we were the top 2 teams last week. So if it continues this way, people better watch out. It'd be funny if the inaugural Raptors Digest Fantasy League year started off with Ben and I getting that top one and two prize. And if Josh gets the third, then people will just be convinced probably that there's some masterminding behind the scenes. But that's it. You know, you gotta play the game. You gotta know your analytics. You gotta know
how to negotiate.
And final note, if anybody's interested in a package deal of Tyler Harrow and Jeremy Grant, I am open to trading those two. Those are the guys that I'm not fully sold on. So if you're interested in something 2-for-1, that kind of play,
Grayson Allen for Paul George right now.
Yeah, Hachimura for Zion Williamson right now.
That's tough. Fresh negotiations. You guys are the best to make it this far. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, the merch, the membership, all that cool stuff. Riker, any last words on the Fantasy League?
So for me, Ben, cheers.